Welcome, everyone, to our first virtual meeting here. I apologize for my video. I'm on satellite, so it's in and out and pretty choppy. We're doing a series today on broadcasting in a new norm. Thad Kirk and Sean McDonald are going to present with us. I'm going to open this up for Q&A as well. So any questions you put in, we'll get to them as soon as we can. And answer. We're going to do a couple of different events over the next month and a half here, mostly Tuesdays. There's a couple of Thursdays. And again, if you go to the Facebook page, you'll see a bunch of events that we have that are, they're not, some are live, most are live, some are going to be pre-recorded, but they're like NAB, what different companies are doing for NAB and different products that they're coming out with. So with that being said, thanks again for coming. I'm going to turn it over for a quick word from Jim, and then we'll start it with Sean and Thad. So Jim?
All right, thanks, Mark. Everybody's sitting there. It looks like our presenters showered and shaved today, so that's a good thing. I did last night, I promise. So yeah, I'm Jim Lean. I was the past chair, and it's kind of a shame that all this has happened because we had some really good meetings lined up. But I think I want to thank Mark and the rest of the managers who have stepped up and really put together some nice programs. So as Mark said, his connection is very in and out. So I'll kind of stand by in case I need to jump in. But who's going first? I didn't catch that. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Thad Kirk. He's the Director of Engineering, right, at WHYY in Philadelphia.
All right, just waiting for, there we go. Now I'm live. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Well, not see you, you see me. Yeah, so the new norm, there is no new norm. It's all make it up as you go along. So at WHYY, we're in a unique sort of position because we're both a TV and radio station. So I've got a different handful of things to juggle than some other broadcasters do. I'm going to talk first about radio. Our 90.9 WHYY FM, there's a couple of programs we air that have some significant audience. One of them is Fresh Air with Terry Gross, which is aired nationally on 600 plus stations daily across the country. So in mid-March, when we went into this lockdown mode, we had to figure out how to make people safe and how to keep Terry safe. And the the only idea we had with this was to get Terry home so she doesn't have to come into the building and remote her as much as possible. So we used a Comrex portable unit for her. So Terry sits at home doing the interviews very remotely, and I'm going to try to share some pictures here. Let's see how this works out here with me. So bear with me here. Pardon me. So here's Terry Gross from home, and she's basically sitting there with a computer. This is her dining room with all those CDs and records on the shelves behind her. Very NPR-ish, as you would assume. She's got a microphone. She's got the Comrex portable access unit. She's just using one input, and she's using the output to her headphones. She's got a computer in front of her for notes that are being sent from the studio. That's all we're doing with Terry. So she'll pre-record interviews. Then people at the studio will edit them. Although, let me back up. Her producers, when her interviews are done, her producers will log the interviews. They'll type text and they'll log the interview as best they can so they know what to go back and they know what sections to save, what sections to drop out. So what we have is we have a basic Comrex hybrid in the studio that's really a listen-only line. So the producers will call into that to listen to the output of the board, to listen to the interview as it happens. So they can be at home doing that. And they'll write up a Word doc or whatever they use to share notes about the program. Some of them they can take that file, then it's recorded in Pro Tools. They'll take that file, share it. They'll all edit it at home. They'll send it back to the studio, and somebody there will edit it, edit it back together into a finished interview for broadcast. So we're still assembling the program in the studio every day with an engineer. There's an engineer working a full day putting the show together, and there might be one or two producers in the building, but the bulk of them are remote. So that's how we're dealing with Fresh Air at the moment. This is Marty Moss-Cohen, who does a program that we air daily at 10 o'clock. Similar situation for her. Marty airs the show. She's got, you can barely see on the desk there is the little Comrex unit. So she's got a microphone into the Comrex, headphones into the Comrex, and she doesn't have it there in the picture, but she's also got a computer next to her that's letting her see comments from producers at the studio. The next step with her, if this goes much longer, is we're going to try to get the call screening system. It's a company called Neo Screener. We're going to get her a visual copy of that screen at home so she can see who's calling in on phones remotely, instead of having to rely on the people in the studio to tell her what the best next call is. This is a shot of Tom McDonald, his setup at home. Tom does some midday hosting on our radio station. Tom's also tech savvy. Some of you guys may know Tom from being in the Philadelphia market for decades. Tom is able at this point to remote in to everything. We've recently replaced a couple of the audio consoles in our building with Axia Fusion, and the Axia Fusion are running Axia's soft surface software. So Tom can remotely control an audio console at home. The blue screen in front of him is a VPN into our Audio Vault system for clip playback and underwriting clip playback. And I think the screen to his right is a screen that shows him different news clip information. I'm not really sure what it is. But Tom's running middays from home, completely remotely. We're going to try to expand this with a couple other people. I'm going to talk about TV now. Easter Sunday, the Archdiocese asked WHYY to present the Mass from the Cathedral Basilica, the complete Mass, not what Channel 6 aired. This is the complete Mass. Pardon me. So WHYY was presented with the challenge of how do we get the Mass from the Cathedral Basilica back to WHYY. We're not a news organization. We don't have production trucks, that kind of stuff. We just don't have that kind of equipment. So my first call was to Sean McDonald at Neumann. Sean will talk here in a second. And Sean loaned us his Comrex live shot unit. So the live shot unit, we'd gone out and dropped one there in this control room at the cathedral. And then we used the other rack unit back at the studio. And then back at the studio, somehow, there we go. So back at our studio, this is what it looked like coming into our studio that day. So we were able to put in some graphics and whatnot and make a clean in and a clean out, and also ride levels on audio and such during the program. But that's one of our guys, Paul, sitting there at the switcher, wearing his mask as he should be. And so this is how we did just switching cameras here. This is how we did the Mass on Easter Sunday. So it's not a usual thing for us at WHYY to do something like that, but working together with the folks at Neumann Media, we were able to borrow that unit from Sean and really easily do that live Mass, and just plugged it into an Ethernet connection at both ends, and we had really good quality video coming back. That's kind of a short recap of some of the things that we're doing. I should also mention that some of our television production is still going on. We're basically editing or re-editing old stuff. There's stuff that hasn't been finished yet, but we're still editing that. And a lot of people, we got 4 edit rooms that are all VPN'd to people's homes. So as long as the content's in the system, pardon me, as long as the content's in the system, we've still got people editing. So we've got 4 edit rooms, Avid edit rooms that are still going full bore here with people still working from home with content that's already been in the system. That's about all I've got for a recap. I'm going to pass it back to Sean, and I think Mark should be able to give Sean control here. Let Sean follow up a little bit here, if you will.
Well, thank you for that. And just going to wait a second until I see that I am live. I think I'm live now. Cool. So, yeah, I'm the director of Neumann Media at Neumann University, and my role is to oversee radio LPFM. So we are a low-powered FM radio station, as well as the television channel, which is all online, and we also broadcast our sports, and we work with our esports team. So I have a lot going on underneath of me, and some of you came out last year to our new Mullen Center. So we opened up the Mullen Center for communications just shy of 4 years ago, and we tried to make it be as current and state-of-the-art as possible, knowing that we had one chance to do so, and that meant buying gear that would allow us to stay on the air, do remote broadcasting, and really get Neumann's name out there. But when the students went home, we just kind of had a lot of equipment that wasn't being utilized anymore. And being a part of SMPTE, knowing, from my time in radio with Greater Media in Beasley, I know a lot of the engineers, including Thad, and we kind of stepped up and said we can help. So I currently have 4 Comrex access units, either portable or rack units, on loan to different radio stations throughout the market. So a director friend of mine is using some of our equipment to direct from home for WCAU for the NBC 10, 4, and 5 o'clock news. And what Thad was talking about when it comes to remote transmission for video, I was able to give Thad the Comrex live shot. A lot of people right now are using LiveView. We've had live shot since they came out. I think we're in the 100s for the serial number. That's how long we've had it. And we've been trying our best to help other people out while keeping a sense of normalcy for our students as well. So the first week that we went home, I had a dinky Dell laptop, and I realized that I couldn't really do much with that. So I wanted to do a little bit more, and I brought home a workstation essentially, and I'm showing it to you now. Thad, can you just give me a thumbs up if you're seeing my picture? Cool. So right now, this is the studio that I am sitting in, and I'm going to go over some of the things that we're using. I brought home a live stream studio switcher. So this guy over here, he's about 8 years old, but if you've paid attention to what Livestream's been doing since they were purchased by Vimeo, they're doing some pretty cool stuff. The software is free, but if you want to have some of the more bulky features, there's a monthly fee around $60 or $70. But if you own one of their switchers, it's included in it. What you're seeing right now, this is one of my students, Matt Dopp. He lives up in Wilkes-Barre. Then his co-hosts live in northern Pennsylvania, and then one in Wilmington, Delaware. And we are producing a show that they've been doing in studio for the last 13 weeks called Intern TV. And what we're able to do with this software is bring in remote studio guests. So we have 5 students at a time able to log in through a secured Vimeo link, and they go into the switcher. Now, the first question that people are probably going to say to me is, well, what about what about feedback or loopback or delay time? So we've been tweaking with it, and we've come up with a system where we can keep them on time. With the students going into the Vimeo studio, they get in, I check their audio here using this cue speaker right over here. So I'm hearing the audio as it comes into the switcher. They are all on a phone call with each other in real time. So as they're talking, I'm getting that little bit, that half a second delay into the box, but I can tell based on their phone call who's coming up next. In the window over in this tab, there's a chat feature. So when one of them wants to talk or ask the next question, they type their initial in, and that's how I'm figuring out who needs to go next. And there's no delay because they're on a phone call. So they're not waiting for the computer audio to come back to them. We mute their computer speakers, and that's keeping us in sync. So far, we've done 5 episodes that way. We're doing a news show that way, and we're working on another TV show called Committed, and we're talking to students who are deposited and coming to Neumann, and we are doing this exact formula. Throw them into a Vimeo link, and then we can have them on an IFB phone call. They're in the studio. I'm listening to the feed here. I'm not on the phone call so that I'm not getting confused. And we're doing it in real time. It's really, really working out, and surprisingly easy considering I haven't opened this box up in probably 4 or 5 years, and it's just one of those things that I've just had sitting around. So you see the C414, I replaced the Rode with another one. So there's 2 C414s. And then over here, the 528E processor. Underneath of it is a Wheatstone M1 that Rodney Bird over at Beasley Broadcasting gave me. I just haven't had time to set it up yet. But my workflow is my C414 into the 528E. And then I have a Presonus audio box USB that's behind this pair of wireless headphones. That's giving me really great microphone quality, which is what you're hearing right now. I have VPN access, and I also brought an Access NX from Comrex home so that I could go live on the station if I needed to. You can see over here that we have Zeta that I'm able to use through the Zeta VPN. And I just have an Avid doll. What I wanted to show you as well is we purchased Zeta to Go for our radio station, and now our students have VPN access. And this is real time. They are able to log in, and they can do their voice tracks and do them live with the microphones that they have. Some of them have purchased Snowball mics that cost maybe $50, but they can go in and they can choose the layout they want. They can go in here and they can remote voice track, which is pretty awesome. They also have access to our video server. So all of the students have access to our video server, and I have some of my student workers pulling B-roll and cutting B-roll from home using the VPN client, and we are working on television productions as well as videos for our orientation, which just went online. It's fully online for the summer. So we're going through and looking on our server for anything that we can use to make some of these productions happen. Now, for students that do shows that are more than one individual, we started trying to figure out what's the easiest way with things that are free to get people on the air. And one of the programs that we found was a gaming app. And I was telling Thad this when we were getting ready for Easter. There's an app called Discord. And Discord natively records in 96 kilobyte audio, and you can bump that bad boy up to 128. It's known as a gaming app, really. So we have these little servers, but they have voice channels, and I can put a student into this voice channel, and we can bring this bot in. The bot's name is Craig, and Craig comes in. You tell Craig to join, and Craig automatically begins to record for you. And what's been great is that we boosted the server, so now we're recording the audio quality at 128K. Craig will do multi-track records for us. So it can be in WAVE, it can be in FLAC, it can be in M4V, whatever quality you wish. And Craig also will give you the option to do a mix down, and it's all done remotely through this bot. And as soon as you tell Craig to leave, you get a direct message with a link, and the link is active for 7 days for you to go back and pull these things. And students have been doing podcasts that way for their television and radio shows. They have been doing interviews with guests. They have a couple artists that are on the app, and they're going in there as well, and they're finding it very easy. We are doing a show. I'm going to see if I can pull this up for you real quick. We're doing a show because we miss sports really, really badly. So we decided to come up with a show called Friday Night Fights, and our sports are now consisted of people watching water boil, and we were calling play-by-play on it. But in order to have it be synced, we sent them the tape of the recording first. They all went into Discord. We hit record with Craig, and they hit play at the same time, and they started calling sports that way. Then we moved into Wii Bowling, and we just took a wireless mic out of the back of my television. I played against myself, and we had the students on Zoom recording their play-by-play video while still using Craig for the higher quality audio content. And you can see I just took a Sony NX5U. I got an output in the Sennheiser wireless mic and threw it into the back of the television, and we had board quality audio from a 20-year-old video game console. So we're getting creative, and we're also embracing the fact that there's still one type of sport, and that sport is esports. And I know a lot of people are like, what the heck is an esport? What online gaming is huge, and we are building a pretty large arena in Philadelphia with Nerd Street Gamers and Xfinity Live. One of our freshmen is a nationally ranked top 10 esport player for the NHL 20 game, and he sent us the tape of one of his games that was happening last Thursday. We threw it in Zoom, and we had our 3 play-by-play color analysts and then 2 sideline reporters over here, and we did a screen grab through Zoom. We recorded the screen. They were watching it there. They were pausing it and then going and doing, a quick post game or a recap, all of that stuff. We're just embracing the technology that we have there. And it's been a lot of fun. We're creating really great content and getting people to be interested in watching the work of our students. Creativity, when you really are stuck at home, you tend to flourish with it. So we're making the best of it, and we're trying to find out the best way to get high quality, because right now everyone is used to garbage on television. They're used to Zoom calls and Skype calls, and we want to try to make sure that we put stuff that's better quality out there. So I brought home a lighting kit. I brought home a 4K camera, a green screen, and we're doing whatever we can with what we have, and we're not afraid to do what Thad did and call someone and say, hey, I need to borrow. Because at the end of the day, programming and ratings, that's not for engineers to worry about as much as it is for a program director or a general manager. So we have no problem helping out somebody by saying, if they call and say, hey, do you have a unit that's not being used at the moment? I have no issue saying, yeah, here, because at the end of the day, people need to be connected and they need to be informed. And if you have creative ideas to throw out and get somebody on the air, or help somebody to just be connected, even if it's just watching Sunday Mass for an hour on television, it's just the right thing to do. So that's really the philosophy I've been having, is it's the right thing to do to help out. And if anyone has questions, see if you can answer it. And if you can't answer it, ask somebody else that can. So that's a little bit about what we've been doing. Thad, do you want to add anything else to that?
No, I'm really glad that you've been able to help us the way you did. Like I said earlier, we don't have a bunch of remote equipment. That's not something we normally do. So, the idea of us buying something on a temporary basis is crazy. So, what you were able to help us with is totally perfect, and it worked like a charm for that instance. Do we want to expand it? I don't know. Maybe I'll come back and ask you to borrow some stuff again. But the sharing thing is what we need to do now to get through. We throw it back to Sean, I guess, unless
Well,
you're
no,
done, Sean.
Mark, do you want to pose any questions or follow up with anything that we just said? We talked a lot, so. You're muted, Mark. Hey, Mark, you're muted.
That's my fault. Okay, so that's my fault. Sorry about that. Just want to say, apologize because I've got some delay here with the satellite and some things aren't working quite right away. I have a small storm coming through here, so that interrupts with it. But I want to say thank you to Thad and Sean for all you've done. For each other. For the chapter here, for this presentation. I do appreciate that. We all appreciate it. And again, it's all about helping everybody else. If we can help somebody else, out during this time, that's great. Everybody appreciates it and everybody learns from it because this is a new norm. How do we do this from home? I'm doing it on the educational side, and we don't really do a lot of live broadcasts, especially in my department. We're more the back end of it. If it's a live, like the commencement or something big like that, I'll do it. But day-to-day stuff I'm not doing like Sean and Thad are. So, I thank you guys for working together, and I thank everybody else that's out there that is working together. And, that's what we need to do. It looks like we're starting to come out of this. This Friday, we're going to have a couple of things lifted, but I don't know what's going to happen on there. We're going to go back into this in the fall. We're going to have problems over the summer. And I think that overall, we have to take what we've learned here and apply it. People are going to be able to work from home. Work in general is going to be, I'm working, a couple of days in the office, a couple of days at home. I'm switching, so only half the crew is going in, half the engineers are going in. I can't say what people are doing and how it's going to go, but it's going to be a new challenge. And I wanted to share quickly, just a couple of things that we're doing at the university, and I'm going to try and pull them up real fast. I've got two different things, and one is Teradek. I'm using their cloud, and two is Sony MCS. I'm using their service. So I'll do the Sony one first on there, just to show you. Oops. Okay. Well, not that went away. There we go. So that's sending to you guys. Hopefully you're seeing that.
Yep.
On there, you can see the different workspaces up there for different classes on there. So what I'm doing is each one of those classes and those workspaces is going to be students interacting with their faculty on there. And so they can go and interact. They can upload videos to it, download videos. They can go online and discuss, put comments online, and it's real live. It's live time. They can even go and scrub on the timeline with each other. And this is something, we have a future presentation on this that from Sony that is going to talk about it. Okay, we'll go. And Michael Potts from Sony will be the one that is discussing that. And do you see the next one here with the Teradek Live? Do you guys see that right now?
Yep.
Okay, so I've got a couple of different engines. One of the things I was just asked to do is the Helios engine that's on here. I'm going to take a zoom and go into it. And when I go into it, I'm going to be able to send that out to different channels. So this is basically $75 a month for each one of these engines, whether it's a Helios or the, I forget the Sputnik server. But here I can have set up as an RTMP ingest. Here's a URL and a stream key. And those two I've gotten from Zoom on there and send it into, when I send in there, it changes it and I can send it out to different channels that I create for RTMP. I can go through and go to YouTube. I can go to Facebook. If I want to go to, let me do destinations, channels, and create. You can see I have a different channels, basically like TV stations, but they're not. They're different web places. You can see here, I can go to Facebook, I can go to YouTube, Periscope, Wowza, Twitch, Easy Live, RTMP, SRT and send it just about anywhere I want. I can also send it to different decoders that I may have either on campus or off campus. Other people may have. So that let me go back to this. So hopefully that all showed up. It kind of went through on mine and dropped out. So hopefully you saw all that. And right now my satellite's dropping out too. So again, I apologize about that. That's two of the things that we're doing, and I'm looking into things like what Sean's talking about. So in the fall, I don't know if we're going back to class. I don't know if we're going to do everything live or in the classroom, or if we're going to do things from home. We're going to have to do something where we're set up. How are we going to do a live production, a live broadcast where students are doing from home? Do you use Microsoft Teams, Zoom? Do we use Vimeo? I don't know. That we're still working on that. So. Those are the things that we're working on. So, Sean and Thad, any last minute things that you guys would like to say?
Well, I wanted to actually ask a question and maybe see if Mark or Jim or Thad or anybody in the Q&A area might know the answer to. We were really trying to find the highest quality audio transmission pace or encoder for the cheapest amount of money possible, aka free, because not everybody can have a codec at their house. So I was wondering if anybody had some suggestions. So one of the stations in Philadelphia that I work with is WMMR, 93.3 WMMR, and they were doing this listener contest with essentially it was Isolation Idol. It was like American Idol, and they were trying to find great, singers in the Philadelphia area, and they were trying to get the best audio quality. And I spent about a week and a half with Rodney Bird trying to figure out the best way to send good audio and video back. And we found that Facebook Live has a really great audio codec. Like it's damn near board quality when you do it correctly. And in Zoom, we found that there's some advanced settings that most people may not have seen before. Actually, I'm going to do it with you now so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen again. And then I want to pose the question if anyone knows something that I missed. But in Zoom, we found this setting, and it's under audio. If you go into advanced, there's a way to enable original sound from your microphone into the Zoom call, and then you can also disable the persistent background noise and the intermittent background noise, so you can really kind of crush that compression that these systems are putting in without really giving you any choice. So we found that enabling original audio and disabling these things really helped increase the quality. And I was wondering if anyone else had some suggestions, or maybe you've encountered something other than a codec, like a Comrex Field Tap app or something that gets really good quality audio with what people have at their homes. And if the answer is no, then I guess that I'm ahead of everybody else. But really, I was just hoping that maybe somebody had something or had a suggestion. And Thad's shaking his head no, like, don't come to me. How about you, Mark?
Thanks, Sean. Just a couple of things that I sent you. Not too much that we've dealt with on our end on there. So, if anybody wants to put in the Q&A, and again, I think the Q&A is about 20 some seconds behind, so we'll wait a little bit here. But I'm keeping you live right now just because of my video on there. And again, anything that you guys know that you can send out, we appreciate that you can send to us. And let's keep it up. Put it on Facebook. Put it on, email it to us. We'll put it up, and do an email blast. If enough people are interested in it. So the other thing that I'd like to know is if you guys are interacting with Facebook, if it makes a difference on there, if you want to continue to do that, just give me your thoughts on using Facebook along with our website. So I would appreciate some of the input on that. So That being said, Thad, do you have any last statements? I'm going to send you live here. Anything from you?
No, nothing in particular. It's kind of nice and neat to share this kind of thing with whoever might be viewing this at this point. So, like you said, this is the new norm, and I think we're going to have a bunch of SMPTE meetings that are going to look like this for a while. So, yeah, nothing else to add, Mark. Thanks for putting this together, though.
Yep.
And Mark,
And thank
what is
you,
the next
Thad.
meeting?
I'm going to send you live, Jim, as well. Jim, next meeting is, I believe, next Tuesday, and pardon me, but I can't look at it while I'm doing it right now. I forget what it is on there. Yeah, comments. Thank you, Steve, for adding that. Comments at philadelphiasymphony.org. So, and we'll go next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We're going to try and do it. There is a 2 o'clock meeting today that's a webinar. So we're going to jump off of this real shortly here. So, Thad and Sean, I want to say thank you very much. You both did a great job. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and effort to put this together. And, not only are you guys helping each other and helping the community, but you're pushing broadcasting forward in a new norm. And we're all trying to, figure out what's, how we should do it, how we should go about and do it. And a lot of times we have to step back and say, you know what, this is something that we didn't think about, or something that we, kind of pushed away at the side, something like, using your live unit, your live stream unit, it's been sitting for 5 years, but now, it's something you can use. So we're all learning. Again, I'm going to close this down. I appreciate you guys, and all your work. Jim, do you have anything else to say, to add?
No, I don't think so. One thing for Sean, as long as you're, I'll do it while everybody's still here. I'll send you a link, Sean, but there's a company that I am somewhat familiar with. It's called Andrea Electronics, and they've been around for a long, long time. They were actually one of the original television manufacturers when they first showed television at the World's Fair, however many years ago that was. But they've gone into audio, and they have a couple of free apps that might help you out. I'll find that link and I'll send it to you.
Thank you. And one of the people that I had been talking to from high school, he was telling me about a a platform called Starleaf, and they apparently are able to do a lot of these like Zoom quality calls, but they own all of the server space, and they're able to really have more control on the back end for quality content and how much streaming happens. So that was another thing that I was just sent through Facebook Messenger. So it's Zach over at Solutions Inc. And he was saying a product called Starleaf would give higher quality video call setups and audio setups. So that's another thing. So if anyone knows any of these things, have them let us know, because they'd be a great presentation in the future. And Mark, I have the calendar up. So next Thursday at 1 is the Vadia 2X1 Bridge video mixing for standalone integration with applications like Zoom and Teams. The following week is the Sony CI video collaboration in the cloud. Then on the 21st at 1 is the Sony FX9 camera presentation. And then on the 26th, I believe it's Chuck, deal with working from home and Evert's perspective with the Atom Box and View Intelligent interfaces. So all of these are going to be on, and Steve can direct us to the website, but all of those are already listed on the Facebook page, and they are already listed on the SMPTE Philadelphia website. So you can get that, and then Steve sends the emails out to remind everybody a couple days beforehand, so you'll be able to see it there too.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we don't really need to RSVP to this, but please keep in mind that Steve's gonna, and Steve, thank you for sending out all these emails. I appreciate it. Everybody, stay safe. Stay healthy. So slowly going to try and send this live. Sorry, no, it's not taking my video. Of course not.
I'll be a pantomime. Go ahead.